us about relationships. And so today you have two business owners right here in front of you. And so we're going to share, just about our experience in being business owners. But let me first introduce who I have here next to me. I have Anisha Ward, and she is the owner of the Sweetest Taboo Bakery Delivery. And if you haven't heard of her company or even had an opportunity to taste the goodness of what she prepares, you definitely want to check it out. It is a licensed online made-to-order Georgia statewide food delivery business. She's located in Norcross, Georgia, and there is no occasion too small or too big. So whether it is a birthday party or a wedding, she will definitely be there. All products are made with immeasurable love. One of the greatest benefits of choosing the Sweetest Taboo delivery is the ability to customize any order. So these amazing strawberries that she has here that are all glittery, I think I might want them in purple. I don't know. Maybe I can do that. So thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm curious to know, what is the story behind starting your company?
I say it was started by fluke because I never imagined being a business owner. I actually was unemployed at the time, a single mom of two young kids, 4 and 5, I believe they were. And I had to find out a way to take care of myself and my children like ASAP. Mm-hmm. So my sister, Althea, she wanted to do a dessert for her team at work, and so at the time I only baked maybe like twice a year max. Okay. And so I was about to bake something. She's like, cool, do something for my team at work. I was like, okay. So I did the cake pops. That's when they became popular at the time. Mm-hmm. And she took them to work, and like not even 5 minutes from being at work, she called me and she was like, those cake pops are gone. They're going crazy. They're asking, would you sell these? And then honestly, that's when I started my business right then. And I was like, sure, how much would you pay? Yeah. And that's how I started. And I started up my little menu, just a little PowerPoint menu, just something simple to send to work with her. And she was working at a call center, and they were actually my first clients at that call center. And then I just started building from there and wanted to be more professional. And one of my friends at the time looked into how I could get licensed to be more legit because I wanted to be taken more seriously. Mm-hmm. So that's when we looked into me getting licensed from home, and I got my license certification and just started from there.
Wow. So it's funny because a lot of people who have those kinds of opportunities, they kind of drag their feet on it. It sounds like you just jumped right on it. Like,
yeah, since I had kids, like, there was no dragging feet for me. Mm-hmm. Before them, I was real idle. I would have never did it if I was unemployed and by myself. Mm-hmm. I had like no motivation for my kids, but my kids definitely put a fire underneath me.
Wow, that's amazing. I say that a lot about my son. When I was when I had him, I was like 19, and I went to school, and my whole thing was I have to be able to make a life for him because, I don't know what else what other options I would have. I mean, there's options. But, I needed to find out what would be the best option for him. So yeah, our kids do tend to motivate us.
Yeah, because I had went back to school. So at the time when I started my business, although I wasn't unemployed, I went back to school. I was going to school online. I started back for my associates. Mm-hmm. And went up all the way to my master's, and it was my master's program I was in when I lost my job. And I started my business during my master's program all at the same time.
Ooh, that's a lot. That is a lot. I mean, and I love that because one of the things I think is most important for people to know who want to start a business is that, there are just sacrifices you have to make to get where you are today. You wouldn't be where you are today if you hadn't just said, you know what, I just need to suck it up and do it. I need to make it happen. Wow. Okay. Well, we're going to learn more about that, especially because I would love to know, what sets you apart from other businesses like yourself. But first, we're going to get into some trending topics.
Primary election. Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right. So trending this week, we've got quite a few things, but the one, first of all, the trending topics are brought to you by Heavenly Helpers Assistance. So if you need assistance for yourself or your loved ones, call Heavenly Helpers Assistance. They come to you. They have uncompromising excellence, commitment to care. Go to them at www.heavenlyhelpersassistance.com for more information. So Bill Cosby is in the news again, and this time it was because he was found found guilty on all 3 felon counts of aggravated incident assault. And this happened last Thursday. In fact, right after the show was over last Thursday, the counts from drugging and molesting a woman in his suburban Philadelphia home 14 years ago. Judge Stephen O'Neill ordered Cosby, age 80, to surrender his passport, but ruled that he can remain free on $1 million bail until his sentencing sometime in the next 60 or 90 days, and he faces up to 30 years in prison. He's 80. So, and the conversations on social media have just been, as always, you've got these really strong opinions on one side and really strong opinions on the other side. It's a conspiracy. He tried to buy NBC. And then on the other hand, it's about time. He should have been, convicted. My question is he going to go to jail? The conviction has happened. He faces up to 30 years in prison, but it really is up to the judge to decide whether or not that's going to happen. I don't know. You think he's going to get time?
I don't know. I don't doubt that is not a part of conspiracy, how everything came out and the way things work. I think it was something about, he was about to purchase NBC or something like that. Mm-hmm. But my whole thing on that whole take is, if he didn't have no skeletons in his closet,
right,
there would be nothing to pull out.
Ooh, that's a good one. We're going to just go to break on that. I'm not even going to add my commentary. That was just too good. So we're going to come back and stay with us on the Live Exchange.
Primary election. Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
Use Tearless Baby Shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bathwater to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet, fingerling, Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I am joined here by Anisha Ward, owner of the Sweetest Taboo Bakery Delivery, and we are talking about being a business owner and what that has taught us about relationships. Interestingly, as we were talking in the last segment about Bill Cosby and all of the, controversy around his behavior, did he or did he not do it? I think Anisha made an excellent point right before the break that if he had not had so many skeletons in his closet, this conversation may not have been happening at all anyway. So now I'm sure I can already hear all the legal people saying, yeah, that has nothing to do with the law. I get it, but it does say a lot about your character, and it does say a lot about, thinking twice before you engage in certain types of behaviors, like buying drugs that put people, he admitted to doing that. He admitted to buying the drugs. He said, yes, I bought the drugs. Did you intend to give it to somebody? Yes, I intended to give it to somebody, and that's where it stops. There was, after that, there's no admission to actually giving it to somebody, but you did that part. So, I mean, if you didn't do that part, you wouldn't be on trial. But I already hear y'all. I already hear you. I can hear them now saying, well, that doesn't mean he did it. I get it. But her point is a really good point. um, were you going to say something?
Oh, I was saying thank you.
But also related to that, and the reason why I wanted to bring up the Bill Cosby thing is because a lot of this did happen kind of in the work setting, even in casual interactions, after work. But it was all kind of about within the industry, within the business. And those are things that also happen within any industry. And, and I don't know, I'm not very familiar with the food and the baking industry, but I think any industry in which there are human beings working together, right, the possibility for harassment is there. So the other story that I wanted to talk about was singer-songwriter, now she's a chef, Khalees, had recently stated that her ex-husband, rapper Nas, mentally and physically abused her during their marriage. And she talked about this during an interview with Hollywood Unlocked. Since she remarried, she's also calls Nas sometimes an absent father. And she stated in the interview, he shows up when there's a photo op. A parent isn't about showing up when you feel like it. You can't not show up for months and then show up and try to make up your own visitation schedule. But my question, and so that's really interesting because, we didn't know behind the scenes what was going on in her life. I do remember this great album that she had, and then, and I don't know really what happened after that, but she has since become a chef. But in light of the story about Khalees, Sheryl Sandberg, she's the author of Lean In, she once stated that the life partner we choose is the most important business decision we ever make. And so we have to go into the research, but I want to talk about that, and I would love to get your take on that. The business, the life partner we choose is one of the most important business decisions we make. Believe it or not, that was a very controversial statement, and so we're going to talk about that in a second. But first, let's get into trending topics.
In the interest of science, 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 science.
Not trending topics. It's the research. And the research is brought to you by the Sweetest Taboo Bakery Delivery, located in Norcross, Georgia. There is no occasion too small or too big. All products are made with immeasurable love. One of the greatest benefits of choosing the Sweetest Taboo Bakery is the ability to customize any order. The Sweetest Taboo Bakery Delivery, where presentation meets extraordinary taste. Check them out at www.thesweetesttaboobakery.com. So, the research today comes from Dr. Pamela B. Rutledge, who, and this is published in Psychology Today, and she looks at 7 myths about social media and relationships. And so we always have these things that we say about social media. Oh, people lie on social media, or, so here are the 7 myths, and she kind of uncovers or, these myths or debunks these myths. So number 1, social media are destroying our social skills and replacing offline relationships. Number 2, I'm just going to say them all. We're going to come back to them. You have to be on all social networks because they're basically all the same. Myth number 3, you don't have to be on social media at all to have a full and happy life. She calls this a myth. Number 4, people don't tell the truth on social media. Number 5, you can't control your social media presence. Number 6, online relationships aren't real. And number 7, social media does no good. It's just all bad. So I'm curious to know any thoughts on these. So number 1 is social media are destroying our social skills and replacing offline relationships.
I agree and disagree with that.
Yeah.
I would say it would be for the people who are the type of people who want to feel accepted, because then they're more focused on their online character than their real life character.
Right.
But for the people who use social media as a platform to like get in touch with like old classmates, old family members, and then you reunite offline and do things actively together, I think it like depends really on the person's mindset and what their purpose was to join social media to begin with.
Right. What are they using it for? Is it to create a whole new persona, or is it to just nurture the relationships that are already there? Yeah. And it says that research has shown that social media has enhanced relationships. Of course, there are you know, the cases that you've talked about, but particularly for people who are shut in and sick or can't get out, this has really been a really great way for them to connect with the rest of the world. So it's been positive in that sense. This is one that I hear a lot from the standpoint of a business owner. You have to be on all social networks because they're all basically the same. What is your experience with that?
You don't have to.
You have to be on all in order to be efficient with.
I guess so, yes, because since how many like different social medias there are, you want to try to reach your potential clientele base any way you can. I'm on all like major ones like Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but most of my accounts are like in sync with one another, so I don't have to go on it individually to post. It'll automatically post for me.
Right.
So I think they'll probably be the best way to do it, to cut down on having to, you know, log in and doing all that extra work. But like I said, it really depends, because to me, like Twitter, the more old school clientele use still Twitter, so you know that's not off. But
so young folks don't really do Twitter.
I'm not sure, because I'm only on there business-wise. I'm not on there personal-wise. I haven't been on it like that for a while. I'm trying to think of a way to use Snapchat to my benefit. I don't know how, business-wise, you know.
I can't figure it out. I don't understand how it works. I don't know. I haven't even tried. I tried. I put it on my phone, but I don't know what to do with it.
It seems a little extra for posts and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I've pretty much done primarily Instagram and Facebook. I am on LinkedIn, but I hardly ever post on that, which is crazy because I've actually gotten a lot of clients that way. So I think it depends on your audience.
I forgot all about my LinkedIn. I don't even log in on that.
So, I mean, yeah, I think it depends on who you're trying to connect with. So when we come back, we're going to talk about this whole idea that your life partner is the most important business decision you can ever make. Stay with us, and we'll be right back.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay. Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
If you're looking for that ratchet, you're in the wrong place. It's the nation's urban internet station, Sensation Station Network.
Welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and we're talking about businesses and what they have taught us about relationships. And we looked earlier at an article about Khalees, who was married to Nas, and apparently that was a pretty abusive relationship. And I'm curious to know, Sheryl Sandberg said that our choice of partner is one of the biggest business decisions we could ever make. That's a huge statement. What do you think about that?
That's true, because you know, that's that person that you kind of look for reassurance from, whether you admit it or not. And like, you know, if they don't show interest in what you're passionate about, I believe it has an effect on you, on like how you go about, as in expressing with them like your joys or your troubles, because you probably keep in things that you know that you have troubles with, because you already feel like they don't support you anyway, so you don't want to encourage their feelings about you shouldn't be doing it. And then again, on the other hand, if you have someone that's supportive of you, want to hear about your day and brainstorm with you, or you tell them a problem going on, they brainstorm for you to help to resolve it better next time and stuff like that, or telling you how proud you are, it'll push you further and be happier to express things about that you do. And then they can even, like, depending on what you do, you know, they could partake in events or do things with you to help you with your business, or just give you innovative ideas to help grow your business.
I love it. I mean, just the thought of somebody brainstorming with me, that just sounds like a turn on. Like,
it is.
Like, you like my stuff like that, you know? Yes. And so I think that's I agree. I think that's really important. I've been kind of experienced relationship situations where they really weren't into it, and it was just kind of like, you know, hey, will you read this, you know? And yeah, you know, and it's like, that's kind of a letdown. It really just like, wow, you know, this business is a piece of who I am, and if you can't be into that, it's almost like you're not that into me.
They probably secretly envied what you did and how passionate you are. Some people, you know, envy your passion, not necessarily want to do what you do, but just envy your drive and passion.
You're excited about something, that you have something. Yeah. I mean, and I've seen that happen with family members, you know, friends, and that kind of thing, that the jealousy of the passion, or and honestly, I haven't been able to pinpoint what the jealousy is of, because those who are, you know, jealous also have their own thing that I'm like, but look what you're doing. Like, I can't even attempt to do what you're doing, but and yet they're still like, what is that? But I think you hit it on your head.
It's probably they aren't genuinely happy with what they do. They just put on a mask, you know, to try to project that. But deep down inside, and you could tell when someone genuinely love what they do, because it shows in their work.
Right. That's huge. I you know, I never really thought about it that way. And one of the things that I think, when I coach people, when I talk to people, it's that support system that they have around them that can either make or break their success, you know. And so I wonder, in Khalees's case, how much further would she have gotten had she had somebody behind her who was really just all about her success?
And then it depends on, as well, your value for yourself. You could have someone in your corner to push you, but if you don't believe in yourself, it's still, you know, it's not going to be successful for you. But definitely, if she believed in herself, I mean, it's kind of, that's a touchy subject to talk about, being physically and verbally abused, because I've actually been in the same situation prior to being an entrepreneur. It breaks your spirit. Of course, you would think that, but like, it takes a toll on people differently depending on your personal strength. So it could easily say, if she knew her worth, she would have left him. But, you know, we're not her. We don't know. You know.
Well, she eventually did. How long did it take, and how much of her was broken before that actually happened?
And then some people, it don't take that long to break you to the point that you can't, you know, be whole again. That's why, again, it's very important to choose your mate wisely, and definitely get out as soon as you know it's not nourishing your soul.
The moment that you're like, whoa, this isn't, let me get out. Yes. And one of the, when I think about a couple, you know, I look at Beyonce and Jay-Z, and they've had their rocky times, and they have, you know, it seems like they are in partnership with their business. And it just makes me wonder, I would love to sit down with that couple and really delve into what's working and what's not, you know, because everybody has their challenges and their ups and downs, but when I see those two working together, I'm like, wow, I'm curious about what goes on behind closed doors with them. But we've got a lot more to talk about, so stay with us. When we come back, we're going to do the balance challenge, and we're going to see if you're up for it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Brenna.
Hey, Prime.
Spring is in the air.
Oh, yeah.
Love is too, and the weather makes it nice to be out with your boo on a date, unless you don't have any money.
That's so true. But what are we going to do?
The Loop is going to look out for the people because our loyal listeners look out for us on ssnatl.com, Radio Not Come Down. Now, we want you to share the good vibes with other people, those you like.
Or even the ones that you don't like, because, hey, they need it too.
Plus, we got enough to go around for everybody.
Oh, so share and share alike?
Oh, absolutely.
Like the post, tag 5 of your friends, and share the live.
When you hear us say,
you know what to do.
Tell them we on, so you can get this quick trip gift card right around the city, 285, 75, 85, top down. Wind blowing your hair back, and the gas is on us. And maybe some treats too, so do this.
Like the post, tag 5 of your friends, and share the live.
When you hear us say, tell them we on. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. when you're inside the Loop with Sean Prime and Brennan B.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me. Whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextsstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I am joined by Anisha Ward. She is the owner, the founder, and the mastermind behind the Sweetest Taboo Bakery Delivery. And we're looking at just the relationships and what that means for our businesses. And we have a wide range of relationships, whether they're, intimate, friendship, family, parents, whatever. They all have an impact, and we learn a lot about our relationships when we start businesses. And so, as I was saying during right before the break, is just looking at Beyonce and Jay-Z's, at least the perception of what their relationship is looking like, to the public eye. We saw the scandal in the elevator scene with her sister. Right. But then we see them on stage together, doing this amazing work, and we see them having babies. And, what's your take on their relationship as it, pertains to the business standpoint and how they intertwine their business with their relationship?
I believe they're the only celebrity couple that I'm actually admiring. I get, when the whole drama and all that happened, of course, when you're a celebrity, you can't hide much of your life.
Right.
And who don't have something going on in their life. Nobody's relationship is perfect, but I love how they come together and, have that common ground that they come and do what they need to do to make, their family what it is.
Right.
Admirable amongst everyone, and their goals of making a future for their kids. I really love that.
Yeah, and they do seem to be very deliberate about integrating their kids into the, to the process. One thing I do like is that, they're like, we just gonna put it out there, with the Lemonade album, and then he had his album. Honestly, I do question whether or not all of that is right. Their story. I think, we have to remember that they are entertainers, and that there may be some elements of it that is, we just want to be relatable to the audience, and we're going to put stuff out there that
right.
we know the audience can connect to.
Right. I don't think, you have to just put all your business out there, but I think it's kind of good sometimes to remind people that you are human.
You're human, right.
Because, sometimes we have our favorite celebrity or actor or whoever, and it's like they're, God or a goddess on earth, and then we just expect them to do no wrong and be so perfect, but we all, we're imperfect, all of us imperfect.
Absolutely. Right. And so I think that says a lot about even just our connection and the way that we portray ourselves on social media right. as business owners. I know that when I wrote my first book, Letters to the Brokenhearted, I was kind of critiqued by one of my mentors who said, why would you write a book about your heartbreak experience? That's personal. And while I get that, I felt led to show people how to get over it right. and how to heal from it. So Do you ever get critiques on what you put out there on social media and oh, you shouldn't do that, or you should be more this or that?
Not directly, but like from the feedback I used to a lot when I first started my business, I had to personally just step back a little bit and filter myself a little bit more on social media, because I'm very like much an open book and I say what's on my mind. But then I had to think about as well, okay, you know, I have a business run. I don't want to say something like, it's kind of hard because like I told someone the other day, like if a person want to be offended, they'll be offended regardless of how you word it, what you say or whatever. But I just try to just be mindful that, you know, at the end of the day, I have a business to run, and I don't want nobody to assume they know me because of just a one sentence comment I made on something. Now they're like, oh, X, Y, Z, and try to hold against my business. Because I actually had somebody do something like that to me before. I had made a comment on a public thread about this girl was cheating on this celebrity, and it was just like quick 2 sentences. And it was a random person, like, went through whatever work she was doing, and she didn't like my comment, and she actually screenshot my comment and posted it as a review on my business.
Oh my gosh.
And said it showed what my character was. Do not support my business. Like this random person I don't even know.
Oh, that's deep. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Okay, wow. Yes. So again, those people that you're connected with and you didn't even know who this person was. Wow. All right, stay with us. We will be right back on the Live Exchange.
Tweens have mastered the art of tuning out. Jen, there's a spider in the car. We're turning your room into a home gym. See? Nothing. But some messages need to get through. Like making sure they're buckled up the whole ride, every time. Do whatever it takes to make your child listen. Jen, I friended your boyfriend.
Wait, what?
Buckle up, sweetie.
Never give up until they buckle up. Learn more at safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
Welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I am joined by Anisha Ward, who is the owner of the Sweetest Taboo Bakery Delivery. So she has some stuff that she has brought, and I'm just curious to know, what are some of the things that you specialize in? What are some of the things that are behind you that people may be really, because our audience are like, what are those treats behind her?
Well, I specialize in all the basic dessert categories: cupcakes, cake pops, cakes, cookies, brownies, chocolate, fruit, strawberries. I bought today some cupcakes and strawberries. I wasn't sure whether I could display them or show them in kind of way, but anyway, I bought them from just a traditional cupcake, and then I customized a few of them just to show the different type of ways I could do it, like with the edible images, the edible fondant flowers, the edible glitter with some of the chocolate strawberries, the alcohol infused. Basically on my website is like for my non-custom dessert prices and flavors, but I also, like I said, do custom desserts. But for that you have to email or message us and let us know like a visual of what you want to get a quote for. But
And I've done that, and she
as
did it.
our business description says, we could customize any dessert for you if that's what you like, or if you just want to buy some basic brownies, we have that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, you know, my daughter's really into Musical.ly, this new, well, I don't know how new it is, but, you know, all the kids are doing it, and it's this thing. If you guys, you know, I don't know if y'all know it. I wouldn't know what it was if it wasn't for my daughter, but she loves it, and so we did a birthday party theme with Musical.ly, and we had the Sweetest Taboo Bakery create this cake, and it was really cute, and I'm going to actually post a picture of it as well as a picture of these treats on the thread so you guys can see close up what they look like, but just really, the thing is, not only does it taste good, but it's just aesthetically pleasing. They're just pretty. They're really pretty. So, yeah, so I think that's one of the things that I think from my standpoint sets you apart from other companies that are similar to yours. What other things do you think sets you apart? What makes you unique, the Sweetest Taboo?
I would say my customer service. I'm very like old school with it and simple. I pretty much treat my potential clients and my clients the way I want to be as a customer when I'm supporting someone else's business. I try to be flexible with the things that I offer, so that makes me stand apart from a lot of known name companies because they have limited flavors or limited designs. I'm open to anything. If you could visually give me a picture of it, if it's something I never done, I'll let you know if I could do it and give you a quote on it. I'm about building relationships and becoming household brands for my clients.
I love it. And she does have an erotic page too, which is pretty interesting. I love it. I love it. And you know, one of the things when I notice with businesses, some people roll over in the bed one morning and say, I'm going to start a business. You know, but I noticed that you've also done the work to get, you know, certified and that kind of. So I want to learn a little bit more about that. But first, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we're going to do the balance challenge.
Great leaders aren't born, they're made. And not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I'm joined by Anisha Ward, who is the owner of the Sweetest Taboo Bakery. And one of the questions that I was asking toward the end was really about how you set yourself apart from other businesses. I know people who they meet me, and I have a life coach certification school, and they tell me, oh, I'm going to start a school. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but you don't wake up in the next morning have a school. Like, there are things that you have to do to actually get credentialed and certified and all of that. Can you tell me a little bit about what it takes in your field?
as I mentioned earlier, I had to get certified, I have the food manager certification, and it's actually doesn't cater much to what I do. Like maybe 5% of it was pertaining to what I do. Everything else is like it's like a in general certification. So like I could work at a restaurant and do lobsters or whatever kind of food or whatever. But I guess in the long run, it's kind of good. It's something to fall back on in case I want to switch up what I want to do. Absolutely. So I applied, and then I got certified, and then they had to come and inspect my home, my kitchen, because I'm licensed from home. So they inspect my home, and we go through like a little questionnaire routine and everything to show my knowledge as well, besides the test I had to take and pass. And then I applied for my license. And the license is good for a year. I have to renew it every year. I just renewed my certification for my management certification. I was extremely nervous because, like I said, most of the stuff is stuff I don't do.
Yeah,
so it's like
but
regular.
you have to have the
So it's like, why must I do this? But I had passed. Like I had a great score and I passed. I'm self-taught. Okay. I don't think I mentioned that. Yeah, I'm self-taught, no experience.
That's amazing.
I probably bake brownies like twice a year before my business.
Wow.
Mostly. Oh, go ahead.
No, well, I was gonna say. I mean, did you say I like the work that they do, so I'm gonna learn from them? Or I mean, did you literally just come up with this stuff on your own?
Came up on it on my own, and then watch a couple tutorials like on YouTube and things like that. I used to watch like hours and hours of YouTube, and so now it's to the point I could literally just look at a picture and like if it's some custom design or something like that, I could just look at it like, okay, I need this. Wow. I don't have to like look up to see what they used or whatever. But it took a lot of, and I still do it when I get extra time, look at things, try to learn and to build on my experience.
Wow, that's definitely a gift. And I know people who do that, by hair. They built their whole hair industry by watching YouTube, by practicing, and in fact, I learn how to do my own hair via YouTube. But it's but I just think that's really great. And what I think makes the difference is really studying the craft. Right. And you said you still do it, regularly. Like what's new, what's innovative, how, and that just, I don't know. I just think that's major,
Yeah, you have to keep up with the trending and current events of what's in your industry to stay, competitive.
Right.
So like, every blue moon, I'll look at some of the major company brands and some of the small businesses to see like how much they sell this for that, just to make sure I'm within the running with my prices.
Right. Right. Well, I think it's great. And so we're gonna get into the balance challenge.
Keeping your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
Okay, so this week's balance challenge is I want you to do a professional connections inventory this week. What does that mean? It basically means I want you to look at who are all the people that you're connected to professionally and do an inventory. Do I have the right people in my circle? Do I need to, get rid of some people? Do I need to move some people over a little bit further away? Do I need to bring some people closer? Doing an inventory regularly just to kind of get a sense of who you have around you is really essential, because if you're not paying attention and you have the wrong people in your circle or the wrong people close to you, they can strategically try to dismantle everything you're trying to build. So you're building on one side and they are dismantling on the other side. So and not to only look at it from the negative perspective. There's also the possibility that you are overlooking somebody who has the potential to really help you build. And so do an inventory this week. Think about all of the people that you've got in your circle. Are you adequately utilizing the gifts and the talents that they have to bring to the table? And then on the other hand, are you making sure that the people who are in your circle are not dismantlers, but that they're also builders? Anything to add to that? Have you ever had to just kind of maintain, just kind of do an inventory, like, okay, let me see who I've got around me?
I do that constantly, personally and business-wise, because like you said, it's very important. You could be building and they could be dismantling on the side. And also I want to add to that, learn how to celebrate those people who bring things into your life and like encouragement and support and things like that. That's one thing I've been trying to focus on for the last couple months. My personal life, business life, just do, you know, little things, just even just a little thoughtful text or whatever like that. You know, let people know that you appreciate them, because sometimes just, you know, saying thank you, you know, isn't always enough to let them really know, like from deep down in my heart, I appreciate X, Y, and Z or whatever.
Right. And I think that's so key, because that's one thing I need to get better at is you know, I'm sometimes so caught up in the everyday just grind that just to sometimes slow down and stop and say, wow, this person has just been a phenomenal force in my life, and I have to make sure that I express it, and you're like you said, not just in the traditional thank you, but how can I really express it in a way that they understand? I love it. All right, stay with us. We'll be right back on the Live Exchange.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me. Whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Love Notes with Dr. Pamela.
All right, so this week's Love Note is written by Raquel, and it's brought to you by Write Pitch Publish. Write Pitch Publish is the innovative writers conference where you get to sit down for a one-on-one session with a literary agent or to pitch your book, to get your manuscript reviewed. You get to network with other authors, learn from experts. It's an excellent opportunity. I have to say it was life-changing for me when I attended a conference like this. It's coming September 15th to Atlanta and February 9th to Milwaukee. Go to writepitchpublish.com for details. So the letter is from Raquel. She says, Dear Dr. Pamela, one of the biggest frustrations I have with my business is that I have friends and family who mean well and who want to help. But when it's time to really get things done, they are nowhere to be found. They never really come through. In fact, I found that no one is really as dedicated to this as I am. It's tempted to just dismiss them all and do it by myself. Is it better to do it alone or to do it with unreliable people? Raquel. Alone?
That I say that's like my weakness, but as in reflective of my business, apparently it's not a weakness.
It's working.
I've been in business for over 6 years alone. You know, it's good that she recognized that they're not benefiting and not as supportive to her business. Maybe she should, depending on what her area expertise is, you know, start from a smaller level so she can maintain it on her own and build like that, and possibly, you know, join some of those networking groups like meetups and stuff like that, and probably could meet some professionals that could add on to her business.
Right.
But I think that's one thing of why I've stayed small business thus far, because I have a problem with trusting people with my brand. I'd rather do it myself.
Yeah.
And that's how I was when I used to work in retail prior to my business as a manager. I worked myself to the bone as a manager because, like, I was good at delegating, but when people, like, half-stepping things, I'm like, I'll do it myself. And I'll be, like, the hardest working, longest working person in there. And so I feel more beneficial when I know I'm doing it for me and my business than me working for someone and, you know, like, taking up all of the heavy lifting.
Right.
Like I said, just do it to the level of your business that you're comfortable with, and you start by yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. Then you could self-reflect, like what areas you need someone to take your time to evaluate people who show interest in being partnership with you.
Right. I have the same problem. I mean, if we want to say it's a problem,
Right.
But I am definitely, I can take it and I will just do it myself. I have this, and the reason why I say a problem is because I had a colleague once confront me about this. We were planning a women's conference one year, and she had a particular task to reach out to the keynote speaker, and I was kind of chair of the committee. And she hadn't reached out. I mean, like 2 weeks had passed, and she hadn't reached out to keynote. And so instead of me confronting her and saying, hey, how come you haven't done this, or can you do this, or what's going on, I just did it myself. Mm-hmm. and what I do is when people don't follow through with what they say they're going to do, I almost forget that they even ever existed, and then I just assume all of the responsibilities on my own. And apparently there are pros and cons to that kind of mindset, because if there is, the con to it is if there's something that you really need done and they're not doing it, rather than make them no longer exist, it's better to really develop the skills to be able to say, look, here's what we agreed on. Are you going to be able to follow through with that? Right. And I always miss that step. I just go straight to, let me just do this.
Oh, I would address it, but at the end of the day, it's Raquel, you said?
Yeah.
It's your brand.
Yeah.
It's going to reflect on you. So
yes.
You definitely, if you're going to have somebody in your corner, it got to be somebody you trust with your brand.
Yeah, that's huge.
I constantly have businesses that want to partnership with me, like event planners and things like that. Just make a list of important questions to you that's important to you to ask people when they approach you to partnership. I do that, and it, for some reason, make people mad, I guess, because I'm prepared and I know what I'm expecting from a partnership.
Interesting.
But, I don't regret it at all.
Yeah. No, I think what you're saying is absolutely true. Be prepared, know what you need, and be able to bring the people who can fulfill that need, to you. Not just the family members say, hey, what you need, be strategic about who you bring in. We'll be right back.
Break yourself, fool!
All right, welcome to the Live Exchange. We are in hour number 2 of our discussion on what launching a business is teaching us about relationships. We're here every Thursday from 11 to 1. I'm Dr. Pamela, and today I am joined by Anisha Ward, owner of the Sweetest Taboo Bakery Delivery. And so we are having a really robust conversation about it. Just most recently about Raquel, who's asking about whether or not she should allow her family members and friends who have kind of already shown that they're not going to follow through on things to be a part of her business. Should she just do it alone, or should she find ways to fit them in? And Anisha's advice was just do it by yourself. I mean, if you can't, you don't want to just pull anybody in just to have them in there.
Right, because that's your brand, and it's going to reflect on you.
Right.
And the way you run business. And you don't want any bad image or anybody thinking you're lazy or your product isn't that great because of someone else.
Right. So, so thinking about your brand and what does that mean for your brand to have your mom be the person to answer the phone, and then she only answers the phone sometimes. That's you got to think about that. So I think that's something to take quite seriously. I think it's also important to be willing to meet people where they are. If there is something that they can contribute to what you have, I wouldn't make the expectations bigger than what they can offer. So you might not want to make somebody a CEO who really just has a little piece over here that they can contribute. Right. So so it is important that thinking about all of the things that you bring to, or that somebody can bring to your business is going to be key in its success. So I have a question for you. As entrepreneurs, there's always that one day where we want to throw the towel in. We're just done. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. Tell me about one of those days for you, and how did you keep going in spite of that?
Wow. I have a great support system. Like we've been talking about having a support system. It might not as big as some people, but they are strong at heart and big at heart. I'll like I said, you need to know like when somebody supports you and there for you, because then you're more open to vent and let them know what's going on with you. So everybody that I feel in my support system, I could talk to them. So if something go wrong, I have like in the order, I'll like contact people and they just be like, and it's been a lot of times that I was going to throw in the towel, because like I said, I run my business on my own. I never had any business experience prior to that. And, every experience is a learning experience for me as well.
Yes.
Like even if I had no part in fault in it, I still try to take from it, what did I supposed to learn from this, and see how I could have did this better or worded this better for, next time if it happened, even if it wasn't my fault.
Right.
But they'll, tell me, Nisha, great, give me words of encouragement and stuff like that. And then I don't be needing much, because like I said, my sons are, what drives me. So at the end of the day, it's like they see me literally, like, I'm there in their face, because I'm licensed from home.
Right.
And then I inspire them. I could tell by the conversations that pop up my oldest have with me and questions he has for me, that they see me literally, and they see how hard I work. They see when I'm stressed out, they come give me a little hug. And then they even ask me sometimes, what happened, if they see me upset and they come home and ask me how my day is. It's like, I love how it inspires them, and then open up the dialogue and let them get a glimpse of, that it takes work to get what you want.
Right.
And so from that, I feel like I'm going to raise two ambitious young men, whatever they decide to do when they grow up.
Right. Oh, I love it. And that's another aspect of relationships that I think is important to consider is our kids, and how our kids witness everything that we're doing, and who knows if they're going to want to take on the business later in life. I mean, in fact, I've never really even thought about that, but just the fact that I'm trying to plant seeds of values in my daughter about what it means to be an independent business owner, so all right, well, we'll be right back. Stay with us on the Live Exchange.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay. Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids. But we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Great leaders aren't born. They're made, and not just anywhere. They're made in special places by special qualified trainers in places like the Academy of Creative Coaching. The Academy of Creative Coaching is an international certification program with courses in health and wellness coaching, spiritual coaching, relationship coaching, executive coaching, life coaching, and cultural competency coaching. Courses are online, hybrid, or face-to-face. The Academy of Creative Coaching is empowering coaches to empower the world. Make a positive change in yourself and the world. Go to academyofcreativecoaching.com.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I am joined by Anisha Ward, owner of the Sweetest Taboo Bakery Delivery. How'd you come up with that name? I love it. I mean, I know it's a song and stuff, but...
A friend of mine at the time actually came up with it for me.
Okay.
I told her, I was like, posted on my Facebook. I was like, I'm looking for a business name, and I had like all these names. But then I was like, I want it to be kind of neutral. I don't want it when someone hear it, they think I only do a certain thing or only cater to a certain type of audience.
Right.
And she actually came up with that name for me. And I was like, I love it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the taboo, like the sinful sweets, I was like, I love it.
Yes, especially the really sinful ones that she does.
So I had to Google it, make sure nobody had that name yet, and then I had to lock it down.
Right away, yes. I love it. The website was available, apparently. That's great. I love it. And that's, and I think that's one of the benefits of social media is to be able to put it out there and say, hey, what do you all think? And, we do that with our book covers. When we have a new book cover come out, we'll put like 5 different versions and say, you guys vote, let us know which one you really like. And so being able to use social media like that is definitely a great thing. Before the break, I'd asked you, about how you keep going, even when you just feel like I'm done with this. And basically, does it come down to your support system? Is that kept you?
Yes, definitely my support system. And also some clients, even new clients that I have, like when people find me and then I make the delivery and it's like, that's when they find out like I'm the owner and operator. They're like, oh, you're the person I talked to, they be like amazed, and then they'll like ask me questions and they're like, how long you been in business? And I tell them and they're like, that's amazing considering the type of business you have and how competitive it is.
Right.
And that also give me that extra,
Yeah.
And then because like I'm not the type of person like boastful type of person or whatever like that. I don't necessarily be looking for reassurance, but when I get it, it's like, you know what, and I think that's important too, to remember to pat yourself on the back.
Right. Oh yeah.
And that's like something I have to remind myself to do.
Right.
Because, like they said, and just, knowing your own story, why you start your business, whatever reason, you remind yourself of that as well.
Right.
Right.
And that inspires other people and, makes them want to do business with you because I know the story. I want to support that story.
Right.
And so I think that's really huge. And I would say that in my case, I've had several moments where I'm just like, I'm done, shut this whole thing down. And what keeps me going also, one of the things is the clients, because I know we have people who are really counting on us and we see the way that their lives are changing as a result of what we're doing. And we're like, how can we stop this?
Yeah. I've had people like hug me on deliveries and stuff and have me like in tears. I've been in my car like, it's, if you do what you love, like it will strike you emotionally, especially when you see people also enjoying your work, whatever it is, or your product or whatever like that. It'll hit you emotionally.
Right. I mean, and like we said with relationships, it's a piece of who we are. So when somebody appreciates that, it's validation for, okay, wow. So what I'm doing makes a difference. Right. So I need to keep doing this. So that was definitely one of the things that keeps me going. And as far as my when I feel like I'm done with this, and it was probably more early on in the business. They always say the first 5 years of the business is, most businesses don't make it past 5 years. And so I was probably in year 4, and I'm like worried about enrollment for the coaching academy, and I'm like, what? And amazingly though, even from the beginning of the organization, we have not had yet a single term where we didn't have any students. And that is like, that's huge, to be able to say that from the last 6 years, because I think we're also 6 years old, actually.
Okay.
So I think for the last 6 years, we've had consistent students enroll in the program. But there has been times where it's coming up, class is about to start in 2 days, and we don't have any students. And I'm like, you know what? Forget this. I'm not doing this anymore. And then lo and behold, we get the flood of students, the day before class. And that always happens. Y'all need to stop doing that. I need y'all to register early. And so, but I'm so glad we stuck with it, because now we're not, we're fine, we're flowing, but you got to get through that hump. So, we're going to go to trending topics.
Primary election. Lack of diversity. Gas prices.
Michael Jackson. Trending topics.
All right. So trending is, are you football at all? Are you into football?
College football.
football. College football. I actually like college football too better.
And yes, Alabama.
Yes, it's Alabama. Roll Tide. Yes, my whole family. I would be like ostracized if it was not. So she's also Roll Tide. So yes. But this is NFL, and I have been following Kaepernick. I've been talking about what he's been doing for the last couple of years. There was a time where every episode we were talking about Kaepernick. But so just a little bit of an update. Former 49ers safety Eric Reed has joined Kaepernick in filing a collusion grievance against the NFL. And basically just meaning that collusion against recruiting him or having him being drafted to a team as a punishment for standing up against police brutality and kneeling. So Reed, who's 26 years old, was one of the first players to join Kaepernick in kneeling during the national anthem to protest racial injustice, and he remains unsigned after becoming a free agent when his contract with the 49ers expired last season. So he too doesn't have a team that's signing him. Reed reportedly visited the Cincinnati Bengals, who did not offer him a contract, and after owner Mike Brown asked him about his plans to protest social injustice in 2018. That might come back and bite Mike Brown in the what, because the fact that he verbalized that he asked that question, it almost seems like an illegal question. I don't know, for an interview. Do you plan on protesting? Because protesting was not made illegal. Once they all came together and they voted on it, it was found that they are allowed to do that. So for him to ask him that as part of being a part of a team, to me, it seems a bit risky. Reed hasn't indicated that he doesn't plan on kneeling this season, but he didn't pledge to stand during the anthem when asked by Brown. So I don't know. It's interesting. We haven't been talking about it because we've been talking about Bill Cosby and Kanye, but this is still an issue.
I said, and Sarah.
And again, Sarah. And Sarah. So it hasn't really, but it is still an issue. This is still an issue. And so NFL fans, we need to think about where we stand on this issue. We'll be right back.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin' Street? Girlin' Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I am your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
In the interest of science, 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 science.
All right, so the research, the science for the second hour is brought to you by two sponsors. First, Peasy Heads Lemon Butter Cream. Let Peasy Heads bring out the best natural you. Check out their services at www.peasyheads.com. Daisy Mack, who is the owner of the company, is a self-proclaimed natural hair activist, and she will make sure that your natural hair shines and is amazing as you are. And the other company is BBLA Cosmetics. They handle all aspects of skincare, from laser treatment to makeup to removing skin tags and all of those things. So check out BBLA at bbla.com. All right, so our research today is actually my research. Can I toot my own horn today? It's called the Diamond of Trust model, and it basically helps us examine who should be in our diamond of trust and who should be out. You know, we talk about circle of trust, but I have a diamond because the circle is outside of the diamond. So yeah, there are some people we need to have in the circle, but there's people that I think need to be even closer, which go into the diamond. And then we got those folks who are in the gray area on the outside of the circle. So let me tell you what each of those categories entail. The first one, within the diamond, you have 4 categories of people. You have the believer, so somebody who believes in you. You have the action taker, so somebody who is going to get their hands dirty with you and make this happen. The loyalist, somebody who has your back, is not going to talk bad about you behind your back, who is consistent in your life. And then the unconditional lover, so no matter how crazy or quirky or whatever kind of weirdness you have about you, I have lots of weird things about me, they love you unconditionally and they're still there for you. Those are the people that you want in your diamond: the believer, the action taker, the loyalist, and the unconditional lover. Now, in the circle, which is outside of the diamond, but it's still in the circle, you want to include people in your life who are like-minded, so they have some of the same ideas. You guys can have some good conversations, and they don't have to have all the same opinions, but the fact that you guys can still kind of vibe. They're friendly, so, you know, you guys are friends, you get along, you're cool, you can hang out, friendly people. Supportive, so they're supportive of what you're doing, right? And then the last one is admiring. It's nice to have people that admire you. Like, you know what? I really admire what you're doing. I admire your personality. Those are the people that you want in your circle. Sometimes we make the mistake of putting like-minded, friendly, supportive, admiring people in our diamond. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are the believer or the action taker or the loyalist or the unconditional lover. I know I've certainly made that mistake. So it's great to have them in your circle, but they don't necessarily need to be in the diamond. Now, who is outside of the circle? There's 4 types of people. The jealous folks. Now, this may sound very obvious, but you may not even know that they're jealous. So you really have to take an assessment and say, what is that weird behavior about? Is it jealousy? So jealous, fearful. If they are afraid of you, then they don't need to be in your circle. If they are vindictive, even if they haven't demonstrated vindictive behavior towards you, if you know that's in their nature, keep them out. And if they're indifferent, if it's kind of like they could care less about, you know, what's going on with you, you're trying to have a conversation with them and they're like, okay, so now about me. Like, if they're just completely indifferent about what's going on in your life, they don't need to be in your circle either. So you've got 3 categories. You've got the diamond connections, you've got your inner circle connections, and you've got your outer circle connections. Any thoughts? Anything to add?
I think that's great. And that goes back to what you said earlier as well. When you reevaluate, like you said, certain people don't belong in the diamonds, certain people don't belong in the circle, they belong on the outside.
Yeah.
Just do that every few months or
Right.
however often you think you need to do it.
Yeah.
Because it also reflects on your performance personally and business-wise, and how you believe in yourself and how much you would grow.
Right.
Because a lot of people can stunt your growth from their bad energy or them not being supportive and things like that.
Right. And it's like game pieces, you know, you got to move, you know, some people, I think the people in the inner circle can move into the diamond. It doesn't happen easily and quickly, but that can happen. I don't know if the folks in the gray can move into the blue. I think they just need to stay in the gray.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's when they say, you know, about the, I don't be understanding when people say they want their haters to have front row seats. I prefer for you to be as far back as possible.
Yeah.
I don't need your bad energy, your...
Right. I want those who love me to have the front seats.
You'll see me eventually, but you're not my focus.
Right,
the people who's in my circle and diamond is my focus that I want to be nearest to me when my success comes.
Right. I love that. I think that is so true. And we do say that, you know, we want our haters to be, or we want, you know, to, no, I don't want to get any energy to the haters.
They get too much, you know, too much going on with you. They could plot, you know, to stop whatever it is. Eventually, yes, no one could block your blessing but yourself, but people could give you detours if you get the wrong person, have too much insight on what you have going on.
Right.
Too soon.
Absolutely. And, you know, one of the things that I have fussed about, and, you know, and I did it playfully a few weeks ago on Facebook, as I did a post that said, you know, folks just love to copy, you know, and you know, there's I think there are ways that you go about implementing your idea if it's similar to somebody else's, you know. But if you are in their circle and you are quietly taking notes, like, okay, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that, and you put it out there, because I had a lot of inboxes after that, like, you know, man, that's been happening to me, or that happened to me, and then I even had some that said, look, I got this idea, and I want you to think that I took it from you, you know. But I do think there's a way that you know, if I came up with a company called the Loveliest Taboo Bakery Delivery, she gonna look at me like, really?
Right.
But that happens.
Right. It's like the people, like you said, you need to evaluate people that comes into your life, whether you think they're gonna stay or not, and know where to put them, because like some people do it not trying to really get in your business and steal your ideas. It probably could just be an answered question that I get asked, like, you know, where is your business going to go, my aspirations or whatever. And then I used to like tell too much. I like talk, and then I think about later, like, I didn't have to share all of that. Like, you could be as vague as possible. The people in your circle and your diamond are the only ones who should know verbatim and step by step. That's if you're going to share it with them, what you're going to do. Like, everybody else, give a vague reply, just be like, you know, whatever.
Yeah, one day. You know.
Yeah, something that'll suffice. They don't have to know your every move, people who ain't in your diamond and circles.
Right. I think I'm going to create a game. I'm seeing game pieces. Like, okay, you just got moved to the grave. I'm going to work on that. We read cards and be like, this person just copied your business. Where do they go? Anyway. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Uncle Dan?
Mom?
Dad? If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over.
As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Uncle Dan?
Mom?
Dad? If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them.
I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over.
As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
I'm more resourceful than I thought.
My suit can still make an impression.
My video games are still game changers.
And my lamp can bring others a bright future.
Because when I donate my stuff to Goodwill,
it helps fund job placement and training for people right in my community.
Now my stuff gets a second chance.
And will give someone in my community
a second chance too.
Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. That's goodwill.org. This message brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
All right, welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I'm joined by Anisha Ward, owner, founder, mastermind behind the Sweetest Taboo Bakery. As you can see, behind Anisha are a collection of her amazing, I was going to say vegetables for some reason. What in the world? Because they're like vegetables. They're great.
You're thinking about carrot cake.
Yes, carrot cake, you know. I can't even try to make that. But hey, they're good for you because they make you happy, you know. And so, but I'm going to make sure I post a picture because I'm sure the camera, you know, the video isn't doing it justice. But it's just really good stuff. And you guys, if you get up here to the studio in the next 15 minutes, I will let you have one of her desserts. I'm giving away her desserts. But so one of the things we're just talking about is how to make sure that we have the right people that are around us. One of our guests, Greg Sheely, or one of our former guests, Greg Sheely, is checking us out on Facebook, and you know he was saying, "Wow, that sounds a lot like politics." And really, what happens in business can be very political because we just need to be very careful about who's in our circle and. Right. And I think I'm trying to recapture what you said during the break, and I think you had said, "Oh gosh, I lost it." Do you remember?
When I was talking about when we outgrow people,
yes,
you have to be honest with yourself when you reevaluate your business relationship or personal relationship, and like Pamela has the diamond, the circle, and then the gray area, and you just got to position them where they're best. Mm-hmm. If you want to keep them in your life, what suits them at that present time, because we have a tendency of holding on to old memories and things like that, and not being honest with where you stand with people, business or personal lives, because we outgrow people. If you're growing, you're outgrowing people. If you're not outgrowing people, you need to reevaluate yourself, because you should be constantly growing.
Right. And that's a hard truth right there. It's the truth, but it's a hard truth. I have people, like a childhood friend that I had, 2 years old. We got pictures of each other, you know, when we're little kids. And at some point, she just kind of fell off, and in our adulthood, and I was trying to hold on, like, where is she at? What's going on? Right. You know, contacting family members. And at some point, I just had to realize, no, that was just kind of the natural progression of our relationship. It's just time to move on.
Yeah, you'll be hurting your own feelings.
Yeah, yes,
and trying to put it on them.
right. Constantly trying to hold on to the people who are dropping off. You know, I've even family members, Love and Door family members, drop off, and you just have to be willing to let that go, because you're making room for what you need in your life, you know. And it's not any ill will on the person or the people who drop off. It's okay that we at some point have to go in our own direction in life. So, but that's a hard one for me, and I actually have a one of the chapters in my book is called "Let Them Leave," and I was writing that to myself. Let them leave. And one of the, I think, most profound parts, and I talk about my writing as if, yes, my writing is profound, but I don't think it's me. I really think God is like talking to me, and I'm putting it on paper, because I didn't come up with this stuff. But I think the most profound part that is in that chapter is saying that when you have somebody in your life who isn't supposed to be there, they are agonizing in your presence, and they're going to continue to agonize in your presence until you let them go. And so it's just kind of one of those, I use the phrase, the natural process of elimination. Right. Just let them leave. You know, if I had the book, I'd read that part to you right now. It's one of my favorite parts. But it's just that tension that continues on until you respond to it.
Right. I was reading article the other day online, but it was about zodiac signs. I'm not big on zodiac signs. I take it with a grain of salt. Normally it's true about me.
Yeah,
But it was
mine
true
too.
when it was saying, like, if somebody is in my life that doesn't belong there, I'll get angry.
Oh.
I'm like angry. And
Uh-huh.
like, and I was like, that is so true. And it's
Uh-huh.
like, again, I still, although I'm talking about it, I have trouble with certain people, letting certain people go. But then when I decide to let you go, it's a process I go through. I was talking to my best friend the other day. I said, I got to go through my process with this person. Give me a few days. And she's like, okay. But once that process is over, I'm good.
You good. What they say about Sagittarians is we're like, but, you know, which is so sad. I'm like, we're not that bad, are we? We're not that bad.
No, I don't think so. It really depends on what effect you had in my life, how soon I could let you go. Sometimes I drag it out to see, you sure you want to cut up? You sure?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, stay with us. We'll be right back. Stay woke.
You use Tearless Baby Shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always test the bath water to make sure it's not too hot. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off. You make sure she wears a helmet when she rides her bicycle. You put on his sunscreen, even when he's embarrassed his friends will see. You do so much to keep your child safe. But are you using the right car seat for your child? Is your child facing the right way in the car seat? Is the seat too big or too small? How do you know when it's time to move your child into the next type of seat? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat. That's safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet, fingerling, Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like. Explore understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues, designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by understood.org and the Ad Council.
Find your balance with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela.
All right, so this week's balance challenge is I want you to do an inventory of your professional connections. So I just gave you a roadmap for how to determine whether or not somebody should or should not be in your life, and whether or not they are helpful, whether you want them in your diamond, in your circle, or in the gray area. So this is a perfect roadmap you can use to make those determinations. So this week, this is your week to do an inventory. It's inventory week. Determine who should be in your professional connections and who should not. You could do personal too, but my challenge to you is to do the professional inventory. But if you want to go ahead and be ambitious and do an inventory of your personal life, I say go ahead and do that too, because that couldn't hurt. You know, it might hurt some people's feelings, but it's not going to hurt you in the long run. It's going to help you. So I might just do that myself. And let me just give you a reminder for the Diamond and Trust model. The people that you want in your diamond are the believers, the action takers, the loyalists, and the unconditional lovers. People you want in your circle, they're a little bit of a step back. You want to be like-minded people, friendly people, supportive and admiring. And the folks who really need to be in the gray area, they need to be out of your circle, are those who are jealous, those who are fearful of you, those who are vindictive, and those who are indifferent. Yes. So do an inventory this week and use that as your guide. And I would love to hear you report on what you decided to do. So, all right, that's the challenge. So anyway, with regards to the business and just being a business owner, one of the things that we talked about in the beginning was the was Bill Cosby and, the whole sexual assault issue, as well as Khalees and how she was, impacted within her marriage. I'm curious to know, and this is just kind of a big random question, what your thoughts are on the conversations about sexual assault in this country today, because we have, a lot of opposing sides, but as professionals, we rarely talk about what our experience, how we perceive the potential of sexual assault on our everyday. I mean, you could deliver something and you never know where you're going.
Right.
So I'm just curious to know about your thoughts with regards to that topic.
It just seems like since all these celebrities and these topics have been coming out, it's kind of been like on the back burner, but sexual assault happens all the time. And I think it's semi-good that these conversations are coming up about the celebrities, because it's making people reflect on what sexual assault actually is.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually important for a bunch of companies probably to go through like the meaning of it and what's considered as, because you could think something is just a quick little joke about someone, how they look, and you just, it's inappropriate and termination based, and then like you lose your job of something you didn't think that was that big of an issue or whatever. You just gotta be mindful, just stay professional in the professional settings, because not everyone take jokes the same or gestures the same even, and just be mindful of your eyes, eye contact, where you looking at a person or whatever. But I think it also brought out a lot of false flags about sexual assault as well, because there's a lot of opportunists who would take advantage, And then I think that's bad, because it makes people less believing of people who actually are telling the truth. But unfortunately, we can't control people who lie about things.
Right.
But I think also you shouldn't undermine or just make light of when someone says that happened to them.
Absolutely. And I think it's an uncomfortable conversation for people to have, to be able to say, this happened to me. But it also, it forces us, like you said, it forces us to redefine what is sexual assault, what are the parameters, what's okay at work, what's not. And I think that's what's really important. In fact, in my own company, and you would think, when you own your own company, and particularly when you don't have an office in an office building and you don't have to interact with people constantly, that it's not an issue.
Right.
But it actually became an issue on several cases with clients that I've had who've thought, well, I'm going to inbox her some stuff, and it's like, there is a line between business and and personal.
Right.
And so we've had to include in our policy a sexual harassment clause because of what we've experienced with clients, which is like, we never even thought we'd have to think about that. But anyway, we're going to talk about this a little bit more when we come back, so stay with us on the Live Exchange.
If you're a single man under the age of 35, you'd probably like to know what the ladies are looking for on an online dating site. A guy who had a few drinks and later got pulled over for buzzed driving. See, that could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. And doesn't a guy who's back living with his parents but calls them my roommates just scream Mr. Right?
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the app.
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech.
This is big business. This is the American way.
Station Network.
See ya.
Welcome back to the Live Exchange. I'm Dr. Pamela, and I'm joined by Anisha Ward of the Sweetest Taboo Bakery Delivery. And we're talking about what it means to have a business and what we learn about relationships in the process. And so I had to bring in the element of sexual harassment because that sometimes stems from relationships that we've nurtured with people, and it, you know, they take advantage of the connection and the proximity they have to us as a result. And I've actually, I mean, I've experienced, now there's a difference between sexual assault and sexual harassment and, you know, and just, you know, being annoying.
Right.
And all three levels, you know, I've experienced all three levels from the standpoint of being a business owner. And so it just, you know, I think we don't talk about it enough from the standpoint of being an independent business owner and what that means for us to protect ourselves. So one of the things I said before the break was actually adding a harassment clause in our contract that we have with people because, and you know, sometimes you don't do things until you find it's necessary, and it's a shame, but we have found that it is necessary. So, so yeah, we are really kind of wrapping. We're getting to the close, and so I want to know if there's any last things that you want the audience to know, how they can reach you, just any final words that you might want to say to them.
Yes, I'm actually running a promotion right now through this Sunday. You get the first 15 delivery miles free, and it also pertains to pre-orders for the whole month of May. So you don't have to be ordering something up until Sunday. It applies for the whole month of May. You can pre-order with the nature of my business up until a month in advance. We are the Sweetest Taboo Bakery Delivery. Our website is www.thesweetesttaboobakery.com. You can also catch us on all major social media, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. And we're getting ready for Mother's Day. You can also pre-order that for that as well on our website. It has all of our non-custom dessert prices, and it has instructions on how you could inquire about making a custom inquiry to get your quote. And I'm just looking forward to hearing from you all.
Yeah, nice. Mother's Day. Gosh, that's coming up.
Yes.
That's like next week. What kind of things do people typically order for Mother's Day? You got like 10
To be
5
honest,
seconds.
normally I take off on Mother's Day.
Oh, okay.
And I go to Alabama to celebrate my grandma because it's her birthday and Mother's Day. So, this year I actually decided to stay here and give you all my services.
Oh, we are blessed. We are blessed. Well, just as a final thought, you know, when something threatens our ability to individually sustain ourselves or our businesses, we struggle to adequately sustain anything outside of ourselves. We go into survival mode and we respond to negative stimuli in the spirit of our own protection, while protection of other human beings becomes secondary. So until we can get out of survival mode, we aren't going to be able to service other people adequately. And so we've got to figure out who do we need to remove to get out of protection mode. Thank you so much for tuning into the Live Exchange, where we exchange compelling dialogue around love, politics, and intellect every Thursday from 11 to 1 right here on the Sensation Station. Next week, I'll be joined by a panel of relationship experts to discuss all things love, marriage, dating, and intimacy. It's a discussion you don't want to miss. So remember, love yourself to life, dance confidently in the dark, and dream wildly unrealistic dreams. I'm Dr. Pamela. Have an awesome week.